Here they are, NASA's Artemis II crew.
4 brave explorers ready to ride the most powerful rocket. RS-25 engines lit. 4, 3, 2, 1. Booster ignition and liftoff. The crew of Artemis II now bound for the moon. Humanity's next great voyage begins.
There's nothing that prepares you for the breathtaking aspect of seeing your home planet.
Hello, Artemis II. This is Apollo astronaut Jim Lovell. Welcome to my old neighborhood.
We will continue our journey even further into space. We do so in honoring the extraordinary efforts and feats of our predecessors. To all of you down there on Earth, we love you from the moon.
This solar eclipse is only visible to the crew on the spacecraft.
It is amazing to watch your home planet disappear behind the moon.
We just went sci-fi.
You really are modern-day pioneers.
Integrity, this is the International Space Station.
And it's fun to be up in space with you at the same time.
Lifelong memories. I'm going to be thinking about and talking about all of these things for the rest of my life, for sure.
I have chills. Welcome back to the Daily Report. It is splashdown day. I'm going to be sad when it's over, aren't you? All right, well, let's get back down to business. What is happening on the Artemis II crew's way down? Well, the astronauts fired off a couple of trajectory burns to make sure they've got the best angle for re-entry. Orion's service module, which has the engines responsible for the burns that steer and propel it through space, will separate from the crew module, exposing that heat shield. The service module will burn up in Earth's atmosphere, and when it's the astronauts' turn to do so, they'll be traveling at 24,000 miles an hour, fast enough to fly from LA to New York in under 10 minutes. As you can see here, they're basically a giant fireball. There's going to be a 6-minute communications blackout from 6:53 p.m. to 6:59 Central. Earth's atmosphere will initially slow it down to about 325 miles an hour. Its heat shield will climb to some 5,000 degrees, half as hot as the visible surface of the sun. Now, as we've mentioned in the show, during the unpiloted Artemis I test flight in 2022, the material making up the heat shield developed cracks and gas pockets that blew away large chunks of its outer layer. NASA changed the re-entry trajectory to accommodate for that. There are 11 parachutes to slow its speed from 32 times the speed of sound to 19 miles an hour in a 14-minute period. They start deploying at 7:03 p.m. Central Time, and NASA is targeting 7:07 p.m. Central, 8:07 Eastern for splashdown. The crew module may land upright, upside down, on its side. So 5 orange airbags will inflate around the top of it and flip the capsule into an upright position. Then in this order, Christina Cook, Victor Glover, Jeremy Hansen, and Commander Reed Wiseman will be extracted. That'll take about an hour. They'll get onto a big raft called the front porch, and Navy divers and medical personnel will check them out and hoist them one by one to helicopters. Within a couple of hours of splashdown, the crew will be flown to the USS John P. Murtha, where the astronauts will undergo medical evaluations before returning to shore to board a plane bound for Johnson Space Center in Houston. Former NASA astronaut Ron Garan joins us now. He flew on 2 space missions and participated in 4 spacewalks, spending 178 days in space. Do you even know what it's going to feel like? Because aren't they going faster maybe than some of your missions? Like, can you just give us an idea of what it's going to feel like and look like for them?
Yeah, they're going to go a lot faster, and initially they're going to hit the atmosphere at about 400,000 feet, just south and east of Hawaii. And when that happens, they're going to start seeing some sparks initially, then some flames, and then the entire spacecraft is just going to be engulfed in flames. Probably the heat will rise, or the temperature will rise inside the capsule a little bit. They'll start to feel the G-force. It'll get up to probably around 4 Gs, maybe just a little bit less, hopefully, than 4 Gs. You had that whole graphic with all the parachutes that are going to open. Every time one of those things opens up, they're gonna have a little bit more dynamic ride as the capsule gets jostled around. And so it's going to be a very dynamic, very hopefully fun ride.
Is dynamic the technical term for bumpy?
Yes, definitely.
I mean, are they going to be able to like hold a conversation in that time, or is it going to be pretty quiet in there?
I don't know. I mean, I haven't been in an Orion reentry, but in a Soyuz reentry, there were times where I couldn't even, see the control panel. It was jostling about so violently.
How do you feel about this heat shield going into this mission?
Yeah, I mean, this is a very risky part of the mission. Obviously, we did have the problem, as you talked about, on Artemis I. They did change the profile, so we're going to go from about 20 minutes of heating to 16 minutes of heating, but the trade-off is it's going to be a little bit higher temperature, but we're not doing the skip off. So we were doing a skip reentry on Artemis I. Some of the scientists believe that contributed to some of the pockmarks that you see in the graphics there, and so we're not going to do that reentry on this one. And even in that Artemis I reentry, the cabin remained around in the 70s as far as temperature goes. So hopefully everything is going to be okay. We're going to have, as you said, 6 minutes of blackout. So it's always a great feeling when that countdown timer goes to 0 and you have acquisition of signal and you hear the astronauts' voices. That's always a good moment.
On a scale of 0 to 10, 1 to 10, 10 being just ecstatic, how pleased are you so far with the mission from not only how well it has gone off from a scientific point of view, but also just how it seems to have galvanized so much of the country?
11. I'll say 11. There's two sides of that coin. One side is the technical part, where this is the transition. This is a huge milestone in the roadmap to convert the idea of going back to the moon into the reality of going back to the moon, this time to stay. We're going to set up a permanent human presence on the moon. But this is also a monumental moment, a historic moment for everyone. This is like the other side of the coin from Apollo 8. Back in 1968, Christmas Eve 1968, when the crew of Apollo 8 took that famous Earthrise photo, that galvanized the world. The world rallied around the image of Earthrise for a brief moment. For a brief moment, they saw the unity that was the reality of what we live in. Now we have the Earth set photo that was taken a few days ago by the Artemis crew. And this is a second opportunity. This is a second wake-up call. This is a second call to action, if you will, to be able to solve the problems that we face on this planet by coming together and realize that we are all in space right now. Each and every one of us is riding through the universe together on this spaceship that we call Earth. It's all we have. And so it's time for us to see that Earth set photo and to come together.
I can't help but notice where you are. Are you going to see him tonight?
I'm in San Diego, but I was hoping, if they were coming from the east to the west, then yeah, but they're coming from the west to the east. And so they're splashing down, I think, about 50 miles off the coast. There's a possibility we might hear the sonic booms as they come in, but I don't think we're going to be able to see them.
Ron Garan, I have had so much fun talking to you. I hope our conversations continue. Thank you so much.
Thanks, Lindsay. So do I.